The government calls it affordable housing. The influencers call it the simple life. But here at Blacklisted Borders, we call it what it really is, a survival trap. We are currently witnessing a 30% surge in the cost of living, while wages are being strangled by AI integration. For the average Black American, the math is no longer working. You've seen the headlines. You've seen the TikToks claiming you can live in the US on $1,000 a month. Today, we are putting those claims under the microscope. We have cross-referenced the 2026 Consumer Price Index with real-time reports from our community on the ground. By the end of this report, you will see the #1 city where $1,000 might, and I mean might, keep a roof over your head. But more importantly, you'll understand why staying within these borders might be the most dangerous financial decision you ever make. This is a watchdog alert. Protect your peace. Protect your wealth. Let's get into the data. Number 10, Erie, Pennsylvania. On paper, Erie looks like a sanctuary. A one-bedroom can still be found for under $900. But our intelligence reports show a silent killer in the Erie budget: the lake effect utility drain. Between December and March, Erie residents are reporting utility bills as high as $400 a month just to keep pipes from freezing. When you add $700 for a safe studio and $300 for groceries, you're already at $1,400 before you've even put gas in your car. But it isn't just the heating bills. Our watchdog intelligence suggests that Erie is becoming a service desert. When the snow hits, the local infrastructure prioritizes the affluent suburbs. If you are living on a budget in the urban core, you might find yourself trapped for days without access to affordable groceries. This is the snow tax, a hidden cost that government statistics never mention. You pay with your time, your mobility, and ultimately, your safety. Erie isn't an opportunity, it's a cold weather cage. Number 9, Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson has some of the lowest rent-to-income ratios in the South, but here is the watchdog truth. The infrastructure is in collapse. We are receiving reports of community members spending over $100 a month just on bottled water because the municipal system is unreliable. When you have to buy the basic necessities of life twice, your $1,000 budget is a dangerous illusion. The water crisis in Jackson is a case study in what we call systemic dehydration. When the pipes fail, the local economy doesn't just slow down, it predatory shifts. Private companies swoop in to sell water at a 400% markup. For someone on a $1,000 budget, a single week of a boil water advisory can wipe out your entire grocery fund for the month. This is why we categorize Jackson as a high volatility zone. The math looks good on a spreadsheet, but the reality is a daily battle for basic resources. Number 8, Birmingham, Alabama. Rent in the Magic City can look enticing at $750 for a studio. But Birmingham carries a hidden tax: insurance. Because of high-risk climate factors and local crime stats, car and renter's insurance here are nearly double the national average. If you are living on $1,000 a month here, you are one flat tire away from total financial collapse. Number 7, Youngstown, Ohio. This is the steel city that time forgot. You can find a house here for the price of a used car. But Youngstown is the king of invisible borders. You can be on a safe, quiet street one moment, and in a high-risk red zone the next. If you are living on $1,000 a month here, you are likely in a neighborhood with a 30% vacancy rate. That means no grocery stores and a high reliance on predatory corner store pricing. Our database suggests that living cheaply here costs you more in security and health than you save in rent. Number 6, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is a city of extremes. The cheap neighborhoods are effectively disconnected from the city's resources. To live on $1,000, you have to sacrifice the safety protocol. You'll be living in food deserts where the cost of fresh produce is 30% higher than in the suburbs. In St. Louis, you pay for your cheap rent with your long-term health. Pause the report. We need to perform a mid-video reset. If you are watching this and feeling the weight of the math, you aren't alone. We are at the 7-minute mark, and it's time for the Blacklisted protocol. Never trust a median rent figure from a government website. They include subsidized housing that you likely don't qualify for. To find your real survival number, use the rule of 1.5. Take the lowest rent you see on a public listing and multiply it by 1.5. That is your actual cost of breathing. If that number is over 1,000, you aren't living. You're submerged. Report. If you are currently living in a city we've mentioned, or if you found a safe haven we missed, report your actual monthly costs in the comments right now. We are building the diaspora database, and your eyes on the ground are our best intelligence. Help us protect the community. Number 5. Memphis, Tennessee. The Bluff City has a transportation problem. If you live in a $1,000 budget neighborhood, you are likely far from the major employment hubs. With the rise in fuel costs we are seeing in 2026, a 30-minute commute will eat 20% of your remaining budget. Number 4. Baltimore, Maryland. Charm City is a tax trap. Even if you find a basement studio for $800, the local predatory utilities and city taxes will squeeze you dry. Many watchdogs report estimated water bills that jump from $50 to $300 with no explanation. You cannot budget for a system that is designed to be unpredictable. Number 3. Detroit, Michigan. The comeback is real, but it's not for you. Midtown and Corktown are now luxury zones. To hit a $1,000 target, you have to move into the outer ring, areas where police response times are measured in hours. Compare that to our watchdogs in Querétaro, Mexico, where that same $1,000 buys you a gated community and peace of mind. Why fight for scraps in the Midwest when you could live as a king elsewhere? Before we move to our top spots, we have to look at the digital border tracking these costs. In 2026, landlords are using AI-driven pricing algorithms. These bots look at local demand and hike rents in real time. If you are on a fixed $1,000 budget, you are a sitting duck for an algorithm that doesn't care about your survival. This is why the expat pivot isn't just a lifestyle choice. It's a high-tech escape from a predatory financial grid. Number 2. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland is a medical desert for those on a budget. The affordable areas are being hit hardest by the 2026 healthcare price surges. If you don't have a car to get to the major clinics, you are isolated. In Cleveland, $1,000 buys you a room, but it doesn't buy you a future. We have reached the number 1 spot on our 2026 intelligence report. But before I give you the name of the location, I have to give you the most uncomfortable truth of this entire investigation. The number 1 place to live on $1,000 a month in America is a ghost. It doesn't exist, not as a dignified, independent life. The number 1 reality in 2026 is what we call the shared survival protocol. To survive on $1,000 in any U.S. city today, whether it's Toledo, Ohio, El Paso, Texas, or Macon, Georgia, you are no longer an independent adult. You are a cohabitant. The data shows that 62% of Black Americans living on this budget are now forced into multi-generational or congregate housing just to keep the lights on. The $1,000 lifestyle is the end of privacy. It's the end of autonomy. It is a ghost economy where you are paying for a roof, but you don't own your peace. Let's look at the raw math one last time. If you find that unicorn studio for $850, which, in 2026, usually means a high-risk red zone, your remaining $150 has to cover utilities, a phone bill, and transportation. That leaves $0 for food. The math of the American dream has been blacklisted. The system is betting on your silence. They want you to stay in these affordable traps, working 2 jobs just to remain at the poverty line. They are counting on your fear of the unknown to keep you tethered to a border that no longer serves you. Now compare that shared survival to the watchdog pivot. In places like Merida, Mexico, or Diani Beach, Kenya, that same $1,000 isn't a survival budget, it's a dignity budget. We are talking about a 2-bedroom villa, a private high-speed internet connection, and fresh, non-processed food delivered to your door. In those markets, you aren't a struggling tenant. You are a high-value consumer. You move from the bottom of the food chain in a dying U.S. city to the top of the economic bracket in a growing international hub. The Blacklisted Borders philosophy is simple: go where you are treated best. If the math in America requires you to sacrifice your privacy, your safety, and your health just to exist, then the only logical survival protocol is to leave. The data is in your hands. The map is in your head. This Saturday, we are releasing the Expat Go Bag checklist, the exact legal and financial tools you need to move your wealth out of the red zones and into the safe zones. Don't be a ghost in a system that doesn't see you. Join the watchdogs. Subscribe now to secure your future. Protect your peace. Protect your wealth. Protect your borders. Make sure you watch the sundown towns that still exist today, and I'll see you in the next report.